I don't know about y'all, but I have never been more proud to live in Mesquite, Texas than today. Amen? Good things are happening in Mesquite right now. Good things are happening. You know, 2 years ago when I ran for council, we had a lot of challenges. We're becoming a more urbanized community with challenges that 20, 30 years ago we didn't know how to deal with because we just didn't have them. We're an aging suburb. We had infrastructure challenges that were a challenge. A little too much crime, too many code issues, too many businesses moving out of here. But that's changing today. I'm proud in the last 2 years we're making real progress in this city. As you heard about the T25 task force a while ago, we're addressing the worst 25 residential and code properties, and commercial properties in this city. No more put it off and put it off and put it off. We addressed for the first time in Mesquite's history regulating petty lenders who hurt the poor and working class citizens and take advantage of them. Very proud of that. We're fighting crime with a new chief who understands how to fight crime in a more urban community where it's more complex situations, where it's not just being tough on crime, which we're going to keep doing, but also learning to community police and work with young people who need to go in a good direction and can go in a good direction if we can work with them. And that's a passion. I've been working with children for many years, mentoring. In fact, Catherine Bowling in the back, I used to tutor and mentor at Tyson many years ago when she was principal there. Those things I'm passionate about. Transparency. 2 years ago, you go to a city council meeting, and there would be 5 or 6 citizens at the most. Barbara Joe, y'all were there. A bunch of staff and the council. And today that has changed. We have vibrant groups of citizens who love their city, who are committed to their city, who want to see progress in their city every other Monday night. And it is awesome. It is a good thing for this city. We have an engaged citizenry who are taking control of their neighborhoods, who are getting involved, who said, this is my town. And good things are happening. So those are things I'm going to keep working on, but we can't let up. If we don't keep the pressure on, if we let things go for just a second, we'll fall back into mediocrity. And I'm not going to let that happen, and my colleagues aren't going to let that happen. Last thing I want to say, I'm proud to be here at Eastfield. I'm a former Eastfield graduate. Dr. Conway, proud to be here tonight. I wrote for the newspaper here many years ago, was a student secretary. Those things may seem small, but I'm very proud. I'm proud that this campus also houses now a 4-year institution for a bachelor's degree called Columbia College. We're making progress in Mesquite. Thank you.
All right, my name's Nathan Bosley. I'm running for City Council Place 3. I don't think I'm going to need the entire 3 minutes. I hope I don't. Well, I'm running for City Council because it is a way to continue the oath I took when I joined the military. I'm a staunch constitutionalist. I believe that the government, no matter at what level, has a responsibility to the people to take care of basic needs, services, and that the city, state, county, federal government, whatever level, works for the people. The people don't work for the government. And I believe that the way the world's going is not good. Mesquite doesn't have the problems that most of the rest of the country does, and I'm thankful for that. But I want the opportunity to make sure it doesn't go down that slope that the rest of the country is going down. And I believe that even the current people on the council, they've done a great job. That's why we don't have the issues that we've had. But I am probably what would you call a no man. No, 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 no. If it's not constitutional, I won't vote for it. And that's why I'm running. Thank you.
My name is Dan Alleman. I'm running for City Council Place 4. And to start, I'd like to ask, first of all, how many of us in this room here live in Mesquite? Raise your hand. And how many of us here in this room work in Mesquite? Raise your hand. And how many of us here in Mesquite live and work both here in Mesquite? Raise your hand. Great. And I happen to be a part of that last group. And I'm so proud to say that I've lived here in Mesquite for 18 years. I moved to Mesquite in '97, and we started our church back then. I am a pastor, and because of that, I'm very much a people person, getting involved with the people and serving the people. I've been involved with the city in a lot of different ways, citizens in the city throughout all these years, and been involved with the Mesquite Ministerial Alliance, and because of that, I can remember back when we had a group that got together and we started discussing a way that we could bless our city. And out of that group years ago, we were able to come up with what is known today as the Addressing Mesquite Day. That's our heart. We want to bless this city. Addressing Mesquite Day, of course, as you know, is all about blessing the elderly people and the disabled people and helping them with repairs to their homes. So I've been involved with that and also been a member of the Chamber of Commerce and also a member of Community Heart and board member of the Dallas Regional Medical Center. So I'm glad to be here tonight, and I'm excited about running. I believe that there's a lot that we can do for the city. My 3 points as well, as Greg mentioned, public safety, economic development, and code enforcement. And I want to tell you, I'm really excited about our chief of police. The new chief that's come in, Charles Cato. I think he's really connecting with our community. He's saying a lot of good things that we can do to help build public safety in our city. I know a lot of times we think about blaming people, and we got to get out of that mindset of blaming people and think about how we can become more involved as citizens working in our city, all of us together, neighborhoods, working to help create more safety in our city. So I know one of his goals that he's making is crime prevention, and I'm really excited about that. Code enforcement, in that, we've got the new T25 program, and I'm really excited about that. They're picking out the 25 most problematic properties in our city that has different issues and violations. And so in that, I heard at one of the meetings, no more warnings. No more warnings. We're going to deal with these properties now. And I'm just thinking, yes, that's right. We need to deal with properties and make Mesquite better. And of course, economic development, all about going after those corporations, those jobs that we need for our city, and helping our city to become better. So glad to be here tonight.
My name is Zachary Matawe. I'm running for Mesquite City Council Place 4. I'll tell you a little bit something about myself. I have been in Mesquite since 8th grade, so it's been about 25 years now. I went to McDonald Middle School. I graduated from Poteet High School. I got my degree in psychology in 2000 from Texas A&M Commerce. I got my master's from RUC in counseling. And I've been an educator for almost 15 years now, working as a teacher, and then for the past 5 years as a school administrator. One of the really great things that I think that we have in Mesquite, especially I feel very fortunate in Place 4, is that really truly I think that regardless of who you vote for in Place 4, you have a few candidates that really want to do some great things for the city. And then hopefully I'm viewed as one of those people as well. I feel like I am. One of the big things that I push for Mesquite is family. I am a father of 3, and everything that I do, the decisions that I make in my life, in work, in general, is based around what's best for my family and what's best for other families in Mesquite. So the initiatives that I would want to put in place, the goals that I have is all on improving family, whether that be public safety, whether that be economic development, whether that be improving our schools. Everything will be centered around that notion. And I look forward to getting your vote May 7th, and thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming today. I tried to cheat to see what the questions were ahead of time, but Terry wasn't giving in. And then I had to pull number 1, so I'm like, okay. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've lived in Mesquite since 1994. I was a North Mesquite chemistry teacher for many years. And as soon as my kids got grown, I went to corporate America to work in corporate health care. And as soon as I got grown, I left corporate health care to come back to Mesquite and be an adjunct faculty member at Carrington College. And that's what I'm doing now. In that transition from corporate America to Carrington College, I realized that I had some time. Because as an adjunct faculty member, you work part-time. And it was time for me to give back to the community. I've raised my kids here, I've raised other people's kids. The community has helped me raise my kid. And you reach a point in life where you need to give back. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to get involved in the community and give back. And convince other people to do the same. So that's my platform, basically. There are things that I would like to see: more transparency, more metrics. By that I mean more information to me as a citizen as to what's going on in my city. And that's why I'm here.
Good evening. My name is Greg Noche, running for Place 5 here on the Mesquite City Council, and have been serving you on Place 5 since 2012. Previously served on the council beginning in 2008 and served through 2009, and have really enjoyed being back on the council. The time that I had stepped off the council, I thought that it was something that God had called me to do. And what I realized once I did that was that wasn't where I wanted to be, and it wasn't where He wanted me to be. In 2012, when I ran for the city council, I realized that I really enjoy being right here in the community and helping take care of exactly what people want in their community on a day-to-day basis, and providing the services in a way in which you value government and you have confidence in government. I look forward to going back to the council for another term, because there's a lot of things that we still have to do. We have a lot of new things here in the city of Mesquite. We have a new superintendent, we have a new city manager, we've got new young council members, and I'm real excited about all the new energy that we have. And what I'm real excited about is the fact that we have direction now, that we're moving forward in a way in which we're moving metrics. We're moving to increase the amount of money that we're looking for the median income here in the city of Mesquite. We're looking to raise the average house price here in the city of Mesquite. We're looking to move some of those metrics in a way in which we're going to be able to attract professionals and other folks to come to the Mesquite community and realize that this is a great place to live, to play, and to work. And before we can get to all of those different things, we need to focus on three primary things. Those three primary things are public safety, then you have code enforcement, and then economic development. And throughout my service on the council, I have emphasized all three of those points. I will continue to emphasize all three of those areas, and look forward to serving you on the Mesquite City Council, and ask for your vote on May 7th. Thanks.
I think we ought to, there's some great things happening at that goal setting retreat, but there's a lot more for the future we need to talk about. I want us to talk about setting goals for things like bringing in a large company. Let's sit down and come up with a possible measurable, realistic goal that says we want an X type of company that brings in so many jobs, and if the worst case scenario we only get half that, that's still a good thing. Let's talk about the future of bringing in jobs in terms of goals. I like us to have goals for more results, what I call results-oriented governing. So if a citizen turns in a code issue or a pothole issue, an animal shelter issue, whatever it might be, that we have accountability that those things are taken care of, that we have the discussion between council and staff to make sure that we're getting better and better and better as we go each year. Some of you know I work in my district with a program called Neighborhood Improvement Services, where we address a number of issues in lower income struggling neighborhoods, older neighborhoods, what I call first neighborhoods. I'd like us as a council at some point to pinpoint a neighborhood that we all agree could use some work, and maybe take a year and we all pour our hearts into rebuilding that one neighborhood that could perhaps bring goals for future neighborhoods in Mesquite. Street maintenance. I'm so proud that in Cossaview and Northridge tonight that shovels are going and dirt's flying to build new streets for a $125 million street program, but we can't do that kind of bond program for 2-3 years. So I'm going to have goals, good goals that say how we're going to have better maintenance of our streets beyond just a big package like that. And the last one is I want to make sure that we're making some goals to really address the worst blight part of our city. It troubles me to know that kids live around difficulty and struggle and crime. For example, the motels over at 80 and Town East. And I want us to set a goal that we make sure we're doing more to address those things down the road, maybe someday that we have something even better in those places, so kids don't grow up around crime and struggle, and the neighbors who live next door there don't have to deal with the crime. Those are a few goals I'd like to talk about in the next couple of years.
These are the ones that I'm probably going to go out on a limb on. Like I said earlier, I'm a constitutionalist. I believe that if it's not constitutional, we shouldn't do it. There are a lot of things and programs out there that every city, every county, every state does. And just because it's the way things are done, isn't necessarily the way things they should be done. Red light cameras. Texas has said that you can't put any more up, but you don't have to take ones down that you have already. Well, everybody knows if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's probably a duck. If it seems wrong, it probably is wrong. Red light cameras, while they do help in some areas, it doesn't matter if you know, it helps in this one area. If it's violating the rights of every single person that drives through that intersection, it's wrong. We need to go back and do things in a different way. How did we catch red light runners before there were red light cameras? Did we ever catch one? Of course we did. We just need to go back the right way. Scofflaw programs. I think we need to not participate in that. Toll roads. Luckily, the new toll roads going in, we avoided it. But the second you step out of, you know, Mesquite, bam, toll lanes. Well, if taxpayer money goes to these toll roads, they're the taxpayers. The city should be, I guess you'd call it a sanctuary city for the people and protect the people from these corporations. They're not government agencies, they're corporations that are preying on the people, forcing you to use a product or service that you don't want and don't have the option for many times. We need to protect the people and tell these corporations, no, we're not going to let you take advantage of our people. I think that's something that the city council should work towards. Thank you.
I want to say that I'm so excited that the city council has gone after that goal of transparency as well with the people. And just saying again, I'm very much a people person. I want to see a goal of continuing to do more town hall meetings, and I know that we've already made a decision as a city that every month on a Tuesday there's going to be a town hall meeting. That's getting on the right track.
Amen.
I know that also these meetings have started to be in the evening as well. It's bringing out more citizens. You know, when I decided to run for city council, I went up there to the city and they gave me a big packet to look at, and one of the things that's in that packet is a spiral notebook, and I went through that spiral notebook about the city of Mesquite form of government. And I think my very favorite part of that whole spiral notebook is the flow chart. I like flow charts. And you look at the flow chart with all the little boxes all scattered around, and at the very top of the page, you know what's at the very top? The citizens of Mesquite, the people of Mesquite. And I think that's what we need to continue to remember. We have to go after the people. We need to reach out to the people. And another goal is in regards to continuing to look as a council to reach out into our communities and seek out leadership, potential leadership for our city in future years. Obviously, the demographics have changed tremendously in our city, and we need to change with those demographics. We shouldn't be afraid of those demographics. You look at the city, at the school system, and they announce that there's 58% Hispanic, there's 28% African American, and the rest are all of the above. Now, I'm third generation Mexican American. That's my culture. I'm bilingual. We shouldn't be afraid of demographics, but as a city council, we ought to be continually aggressive in raising leadership and looking at people in our communities. Who are those future potential people that we can bring into the boards, bring into the commissions, and let them be a part of our city government? It is all about the people.
Well, you know, one of the good things that I really would like to see from Mesquite and growing with the city council is developing some of those areas outside the county's corridor there. You've seen a lot of re-facading and a lot of improvement in that area, and I would like to see things expand beyond that area. And I think the city council thus far has done a really great job of pushing those initiatives. But one of the things that I got excited about the other night when I was listening to Chief Cato talk was some of his theories in terms of law enforcement, in terms of public safety. Was one of them was the broken window theory. I'm a firm believer in that as well. You know, in my school, if the school is a mess, you know what, the kids are going to act a mess. If things are not cleaned up, if people aren't kind of following a little bit of pride in their environment and feel good about where they are, they're going to act the part. So I think a big part for us as Mesquite residents is to begin to improve some of those areas so that our kids can feel good about where they are, so they can have a little bit of that community pride and take that out into the world. I mean, right now, I grew up in Mesquite, and growing up, I was so proud to be a OT Pirate. When we went and played games with the South Lake and smacked them around 36-0 one time, and that was a blast. So having that pride in my school, that pride in my community, was a big thing for me, and I think that we could really benefit by instilling that into our kids.
And I noticed that they do intend for the community to get more engaged and involved. I would like to see some physical engagement as far as on the website. So everybody has input. When I started running this race, I got input from so many different people, my head was spinning. So I can imagine what it's like for the council and the mayor and the city. I would like to see a tool on the website where people can give input. It's like an electronic suggestion box according to categories, so that we can have some real-time feedback from the citizens about things that affect the community. That's goal number one, so that you can just go, hey, I feel this way about this, punch a button. We have some real measurements, we have some real metrics. I would also like to see an explanation for things on site. For example, since I've been running, I've been learning a lot. I learned about tax cap, appraisal caps, build this and build that, and tax initiatives, and not having enough money if legislature does this, that, and the other. To the common citizen like me, what does that mean? What does that mean to me in my pocket? So if I could have some educational information on the website as well. This is what's happening in the government. This is how this will affect you. This is how this will affect your property. This is how it will affect your future. This is how this will affect the city. So if we could just have some real-time measurements, some tools to receive input and engagement.
I think I've got it. What are some of the goals you'd like to see the council address in the coming years? And I'm real excited. One of the news I left out of my introductory comments was a new mayor. And so one of the goals that we've actually been able to achieve is a little better dialogue on the council. We have a much better environment on the council itself within which we can exchange ideas. And part of that was a policy retreat that we had back in the fall. And it was really a process in which we all engaged and resulted in these goals. And what we're focused on are those three primary areas that I mentioned in the opening statement, which are public safety, economic development, and code enforcement. And in terms of public safety, we have asked the chief to start bringing us some metrics on reducing crime. The other thing that we've asked the chief to take a look at, and certainly let him get his feet on the ground a bit, but do we have enough officers on the ground? And is there a way in which we could civilianize some of these positions in our police department and perhaps get some of the sworn officers that are doing some of the administrative roles at the police station out on the street and catching bad guys and catching bad girls? And that's one of the things that he's looking at. And I'm excited about that. The other thing that we're looking at and that we've implemented is our Code Ambassador program. And I'm real excited about that. Our Code Ambassador program is going to be a volunteer effort. It's going to help supplement code enforcement. And it's going to provide a lot more eyes and ears and a lot more resources by which the city can start to clean up the neighborhoods, which is absolutely necessary and important. And in terms of economic development, we've already started with one of those goals, and we've added a professional staffer with some serious experience in terms of retail expansion to our economic development staff. And I look forward to seeing all of the things that she can bring and enhance our economic development efforts.
When it comes to how to bring more jobs to our city, I think that the first thing we have to do is make sure that everybody around the world, not just Metroplex or Texas, but people around the world get the story in the news that Mesquite, Texas is open for business. You know, some of the businesses that Councilman Noche just talked about that have come here and that we provide some incentives. We open the door for those folks to come here, like Baker Brothers or FedEx. Let's make sure that we're getting our story out to companies all over that this is a place you ought to come check out. There may be some opportunities here to build your business and bring a profit and bring jobs to people of our town. I want our economic development department to be very aggressive, to go out there and look hard as whatever it takes to get folks here. And at the same time, no matter what we do with economic development, if we don't constantly keep a focus on keeping our crime down, our code enforcement, keeping this community clean, and fixing our streets, all that other stuff won't matter. So we have to keep those three basics at the forefront at all times. Those are things I think about every day when it comes to building jobs.
Oh, you're lucky. I'm a Trekkie, so I'm not scared of Vader. I think we should be proactive. Go after the businesses that we want, not just wait for them to come to us, but we should go after them. Not just jobs, but high-end careers, tech, defense industries, whatever we can get that's good quality. But they go where the profit is. If they come here and view the city and see that we have empty storefronts, they're going to think that we're a ghost town. We're not. I mean, you know, some things happen. So we should also go after the small business and encourage small business, home businesses, and help them out. I know whenever some of the larger companies came in, you know, the Baker Brothers, whatever, we did tax incentives, rebates, or what's the proper term. But I talked to some small businesses and I asked them, did y'all get any tax incentives for opening up? And they said, no. Why would we? Well, why don't we do that for the small guys? We should do that for everybody. The city should also hold seminars for small and home business owners so they do things the right way the first time. It's very difficult. I'm starting a home business right now. I've done it before and I'm still making mistakes. We should have a seminar with the bankers, people that have done it before, and say, this is the right way to do things. This is what you need to do. Get it done quicker, faster, more efficiently. And again, the right way the first time, so they're more successful. They bring in that profit. They're spending it here. And then the big corporations that we want that are bringing in those high-end careers will say, hey, the economy's thriving. Let's move to Mesquite. And that's all the notes I have now.
In regards to the initiatives of getting more jobs to our city, I think that we need to definitely get on the right track of getting the message about our city out to the Metroplex, to the surrounding areas. Sometimes the wrong messages is getting out and you don't know where these sources are that are coming from, and we need to get the right message out. One of them is location, understanding location. And location is big for our city of Mesquite. You think about it. The entranceway going out towards Dallas, going out towards the Metroplex, going to East Texas, different areas. We have I-20, we have I-30, we have Highway 80. We have these major highways around our city, and now we have the potential of looking at 190, the alignment of 190, and I'm not going to say potential anymore because it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and it's right around the corner, and we need to get ready to move with that. So when 190 is coming around, we got to be assured that we're selling the right message about our city. Another angle about this is in regards to the schools, and perhaps some of you have read some things about perception of the city. And of course, with jobs and with corporations and with people coming to the city, they want to know if there's good schools around for our city. And I want to assure you, this morning I went to the communications breakfast, had a tremendous time. Every time I listen to our new superintendent of the schools, Dr. Brunlund, he inspires me, he encourages me, and I see that we're on the right track. And he's looking towards the future of Mesquite with these high school students and the potential of them graduating and becoming their own entrepreneurs. He wants to see all of us together, and it is an effort of all of us together as citizens, working together to encourage our children, to encourage our young people, that as they grow in our city, yes, they can work for a business, they can run a business, but they need to have in their mind to own the business one day. So we can have our own young people in the city going after owning their own businesses. I believe in homegrown too. Let's bring them in from the outside, but let's continue to grow them at home as well. So there's a lot that we can do. But the message has got to be right, and we need to get off the negative message.
Well, you know, as Mr. Alleman said, the location is a big deal. Anytime you're dealing with businesses, they first, of course, they like to have those personal relationships, as Mr. Noche said. But one of the big things is they're going to be looking for opportunity. Is there opportunity? Is there something that they can go after? Is there a niche that they can fill? So one of the things that we have to do as a city is kind of going back to my first point of developing that civic pride, developing that community that looks the part, that's going to attract those businesses, that we have strong schools, that we have opportunities, and where businesses see that there is a potential for something to happen, something to develop here. And again, we are in a great location. We have a great community in Mesquite, and we just need to continue to grow that and continue to work on getting those businesses to come here and developing those relationships and developing that beautification of the city.
I support street repair, okay? And with the bond issue, that should bring some more jobs into Mesquite. I also would support an intermediate professional school, and I'm not real sure about monies, what that would cost, what that would involve, but it's more, let's say that we have a student that's graduating high school, and they can be placed right into a vocational program and receive a certificate, kind of like an electrician. Or we have a bridge program with Eastfield already, but I'm asking for more vocational things that should bring in a few more jobs. One goal that I had in mind is wellness and increasing the wellness and healthier community members. That would also bring jobs into the rec centers, and people can go and get simple testing done and things like that. I will support big business and bringing big business in, but I think that we should look at what type of business is coming in, what type of jobs will it create, what type of housing will the people that are living there will need, what type of grocery store will they need to serve those people that are working that company as well. I did notice when I was passing out flyers that a lot of the people I talked to didn't live in Mesquite, but they worked in Mesquite. Something didn't equate to me. Maybe we should find a way for more of our citizens to have jobs right here in Mesquite. They work at Kroger's but live in Garland. They worked at the shops but lived in Addison. So maybe we could look into how we... You were nice about it.
Oh, it's like you're going to sleep a little bit. So, with regard to economic initiatives and economic development initiatives and what I would do or what programs I would support to bring more jobs to Mesquite, I have been trying for years, and I was very excited with the election of the new mayor about this, because what I've been trying to do and instill on the council is that we need to be about building relationships with our business community. We need them to be able to feel as though they're not saying no to Mesquite, they're saying no to Jeff Casper. They're saying no to Stan Pickett. They're saying no to Bruce Archer. They're saying no to Greg Noche or to Dennis Tarpley or to Bill Porter or to Shirley Roberts. And when you start building those relationships, all of a sudden that no becomes a lot more difficult. And we have two great examples in which ways we've done that in the past 2 years. The first is Baker Brothers Plumbing. Baker Brothers Plumbing was over in Dallas. It's a Mesquite business. It was born and raised here in the city of Mesquite. Jimmy Dale is a North Mesquite graduate. He got the business from his dad. And they were over in Dallas. Their trucks were getting broken into. They needed a new place to go. They came and they met with Tom Palmer. It didn't get off the ground because they couldn't figure out a way to make it work from an economic standpoint. I went and had lunch with Jimmy Dale, and Jimmy mentioned that they bought all of their supplies and paid taxes on all of their supplies because it was better for their customers that way. And what we realized was we could refund a portion of those sales tax back to them, and all of a sudden, all the numbers worked. And that's one of the ways in which we built the relationship, we brought the business here, and now we have hundreds of jobs. Baker Brothers now is getting all their trucks fueled at Fuel City, and all their people and all their workers are buying stuff at Fuel City. building all of those relationships and putting people together is really what we need to be about in terms of economic development. And I look forward to continuing to build those relationships and invest in the businesses that are investing here in Mesquite, and keep them here in Mesquite, and keep bringing them here to Mesquite.
Into programs I would propose to engage our citizens and business folks to improve our community. One thing I didn't say a while ago that I actually agree a little bit with what Mr. Bosley was pointing out to is that we need to have very high standards, and we've got great city staff who enforce those standards, building codes, all kinds of things. We've got to have those. But I want to make sure that we also, in that whole concept of Mesquite being open for business, I want to make sure that we're not looked at as rule enforcers as opposed to working with good business folks. If there's a few snags here and there, I want to make sure our economic development folks are in that room with them, and so we can work out those details so we can keep good business folks here and not going somewhere else. Some things for the future, I would like to see down the road, perhaps some of us on the council from time to time have dinner with some different large employers here in town and just have some give and take and find out what their thoughts, concerns, ideas are. I'd like to see our city staff, especially in the economic development department, out talking to our small business owners like Mr. Bosley talked about, and making sure that a company that's been here for 30 years that maybe none of us ever go into, drive by, but they're paying taxes here, they're providing good services and products. Let's make sure those folks don't feel forgotten about and neglected. They might lose somewhere else because we just didn't take the time to know who they were and what their needs were. And also, like Mr. Noche said, I'm very committed to making sure that we're engaging young people in this town. So we, one day, Lord willing, have future wealth producers who will come back and live in this community, invest in this community, and make a difference. So those are some thoughts I have about the future.
All right, that's out of the way. One thing I've noticed when I was talking to local businesses is that they want to improve. They want to remodel. They want to make their store prettier. They realize that people want to go to the nicer stores. If you got two identical stores next to each other, one's run down, 40, 50 years old, and you got a brand new one, same employees, same everything, they're gonna go to the brand new one. And I've asked them, why haven't you remodeled? So we can't afford it. Well, you can't afford the remodels. Like, no, we can afford the remodel. It's the permits. The permits are so expensive that it's preventing many businesses from improving. I talked to one gentleman, he owns a convenience store, and he owns the building, and the stall next to him is empty. It's been empty for years. He wants to take down the non-structural dividing wall. The city wants $25,000 for him to remove a non-structural wall so he can use the rest of his building. He wants to also remodel the outside. And I was like, well, how much is that one? He's like, you don't want to know. I was like, I do want to know. He's like, no. If that was $25,000 and you don't want to know how much that one is. So sometimes the city gets in the way. The businesses want to improve. So we need to find ways to work with them better and help them help themselves. Thank you.
My thoughts in regards to this, being very much into bringing people together and wanting to see how we can improve our community, I'm thinking about Community Heart. And I've just recently started going to these meetings again, and I'm glad I have. Community Heart is a group of businesses, business owners, different folks from the downtown, Old Town Mesquite area, and they build relationship together, but they have one goal set in mind: revitalization of the downtown square of Mesquite. And in the meantime, you know that they do all these different things with Kid Fish and the Christmas in the Park and all this. And so along these lines, I think as well, maybe this is something that can be duplicated in other parts of the city where there are groups of citizens and business owners that come together, getting to know each other, and then even when there's a need in the city, they can work together as a city to help maybe a business owner with something that he has to get done in his business, or maybe a citizen that's needing some work done that lives close by to that area. So it's all relational, but I think it would be a great way to create more of these groups along the lines. You know, you have the Chamber of Commerce, and they have a monthly meeting. They get together over at the Rodeo Arena, but these would be smaller groups, but including citizens as well. Maybe like a town hall meeting too, for citizens and business owners. So,
My better half, by the way, is at home watching my 3 kids, and hopefully I still have 3 kids when I get home. I haven't driven her crazy yet, so. One of the things that I did at my school was to try to develop a mentorship program between businesses, local businesses, and our students. And I think that this would be a great way to get our community engaged with our businesses and develop some strengths within the community, and also give our kids the opportunity to look beyond just the classroom and look at some of those day-to-day things that we don't necessarily, I mean, myself, I didn't get the opportunity to learn until I got out of the workforce. And maybe we can give those kids a little bit of a head start. That would be a really solid way to help kind of tie those two ends together and develop our community at large.
I would like to see, or I would like to propose a civic card. It's like a progress card or a Tom Thumb card. And when citizens participate in X number of civic events, they get something. Like with progress. After you buy so much, you get 20 cents off gas or a discount on this. I propose that we partnership with the local businesses for an incentivized civic card for our citizens. It will encourage them to get more engaged in things that are going on around the city, and also give them something to strive for. And we can see more community engagement with that. That was my thought.
The question was to describe any program that you propose that would help engage citizens and businesses in bettering the community. And in terms of that, I'm actually going to steal an idea here, and it's not an idea that I would propose, but it's something that I think we need to support. In my opening statement, we talked about some of the new things that were happening here in the city of Mesquite. I mentioned the new superintendent, Dr. Runland, and some of the new initiatives at our school district. One of the things that he is emphasizing, and one of the things that his research and educational research has shown, is that if kids aren't on grade level by the time they reach 3rd grade, then they're destined to be a tax on society. And they're going to be struggling from that point on. And he has proposed a K-2 initiative to get all of those kids on reading level. As a council and as a council member, I'm supporting that effort, going into schools and reading. And I think that as a local government, we need to be more engaged and actively engaged in supporting that initiative. Because if we can help educate our kids, and if we can help get these kids on grade level by the time they reach 3rd grade, just think of what we're doing from a long-term perspective. We're not only expanding our job base and our ability to attract business here in the city of Mesquite, but we're also empowering these kids to control their own destiny and not have to look for government wherever they may end up. And so that's one of the things that I'm real excited about. It's one of the initiatives that I look forward to supporting on the council when you re-elect me on May the 7th. And it's one of the things that I hope that I'll be able to engage each and every one of you in the next 2 years.
It really comes back. Well, before I do that, I want to say that these 2 young people have been so good here tonight. Now let's give them some appreciation. I know some of this may seem boring tonight, but I'm proud that you're here because you could make a difference one day for our town. So I'm glad you guys are here. You know, my partnerships come to my mind on this question here. One of the things I think about, Terry and I just recently were talking about some different workshops that could be done. For example, I have a background in restaurant management and with a heavy service emphasis on that management. So, you know, I'd be glad to work with maybe a new restaurant in town or that maybe is struggling on the service end, have some workshops, or other business owners or businesses that have some skills for a new business and go tag alongside and work with them. I think Nathan had a good point about partnerships working together. If every business is good, we're all doing good, right? I'd like to see us do more to increase the chamber membership. That's something I have not done enough of, and I'd like to do more to help increase that membership. I serve on the MISD Career and Technology Advisory Committee. And if you're not familiar with what goes on there, we have some programs in our school district that are just phenomenal that will blow your mind in terms of the wonderful skills that young people are learning, whether it be learning how to ride an ambulance after graduation, a welder, auto repair, CAD, computer design. It's unbelievable. Accounting, and those folks are graduating with good careers, with good wages. And I'd like to see us, our chamber, our council and city staff all partner with those entities. And just like here at Eastfield and Columbia College, my gosh, the opportunities to partner with the skills learned here, the jobs that come back out and bless this local economy. Partnerships, partnerships, partnerships.
All right, just going back to some of the things said earlier is have the Chamber of Commerce do seminars, help out new businesses, help out existing businesses to improve. I know sometimes it might seem like conflict of interest, like, well, I own a business, why would I want to help somebody else out? No, you help everybody out. I know some of the things I've done, even my competitors, I want them to succeed. So if everybody is doing well, you're going to do even better. It's just going to be one of those multipliers where it just snowballs. Get that going on. You have the city also participating in that, being in part of those seminars, like, all right, if you're wanting to start a business, this is what you need to do. Give out packets. It's like, you need to do this, 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 and this, in these steps and orders to help simplify the things for the people trying to come into Mesquite and open up a business. Talked to another business. He moved his business from Pleasant Grove to Mesquite. He had a successful business over there. He just wanted to move to a nicer place. And he had some good things to say and some, permanent issues, but he said he would do it again in a heartbeat just to move to Mesquite because it is such a better place from where he came from. Just getting the word out. A lot of times sometimes you hear a negative thing, it takes 50 to 100 positive reviews and words to undo one bad. So let's put out the positive word that Mesquite is here, Mesquite is good, and let the people know that other businesses are moving here because they believe that Mesquite is that good. And I'm going to keep going because I want to hear the new music. But just having the Chamber of Commerce and the city working together, helping out new businesses, and focusing on just the small ones, even if it's not in a storefront, even if it's out of their home, that's still money being spent here. More money being spent, more money being earned, more money being spent, and again, it snowballs. And keep going, music. All right.
It's a great question. I think about different things in this regard. I know that the businesses in our city is the economic engine of our city. It's what's bringing forth the finances, and there's much power there. And at the same time, I think we got to be creative. We got to think out of the box. We got to think about what we can do in regards to being connected with the city as businesses in the city, just like we do with churches as well, connecting with the city. And Dennis Tarpley, Councilman Dennis Tarpley came up with that idea to keep addressing Mesquite going throughout the year, connecting. That's a way of connection with the businesses as well, because it takes businesses to get involved to see what they can do to better the homes in Mesquite. So there has to be other ideas that will come across. How can we help with the schools? That's a part of our city as well. And reaching out to the students and mentoring programs and that type of thing. And the counselors. I know one thing that we do once a year is we have a breakfast to appreciate all the bus drivers that work for the MISD schools. And we reach out to business owners, Chamber of Commerce business owners that can help us do that and partner with us so we can continue to be in touch with the city. So I think we need to be creative, think out of the box, look at what the need is. What's the need in our city? And go after that need, whatever it might be. And different ways that businesses can be involved with that. So, thank you.
That's for Mr. McCauley.
Well, while businesses are the engine that drive the economy, the people are the engine that drive the businesses. So I think that it is important for the Chamber of Commerce and the businesses at large to get involved with the community. Just something that I'm thinking about, kind of piggyback a little bit off of what Yolanda said, was to try to bring together those two entities. So maybe doing something like a chamber/city sponsored block party or fairs or something like that, just within individual communities, so that the people of that community can get to know the businesses within that community and the business owners, and give them an opportunity to interact and to just enjoy the day and get to know each other a little bit.
would like to see the Chamber's red jackets out more in the public. The Chambers came by my school for ribbon cutting because we had a simulation lab, and they came out full force. The students are still talking about that, and that happened months ago. Those people that have small businesses that work in that setting as well are still talking about the Chamber's visit. I personally would like to see those red coats throughout the city. It shows pride, it shows support, and you can give information on the businesses as well. But you actually were there. You actually ate that food. Right now, we have to get online, depend on Yelp, okay, what happened to this restaurant last time. The Chamber should have something like that. It should be more engaging. We should see more red jackets out in the public. It's about all of us. It's gonna take the Chamber, it's gonna take the city, it's gonna take the council, it's gonna take all of us being engaged.
The question deals with what we would like to see the Chamber do, or a new way in which we'd like to see the Chamber more involved in building relationships in our community. And I served as the chairman of the Chamber back in 2005. And one of the things that I found, it's a very difficult position to be in as the chairman, because you're there for a year. And some of the things that you need to try to do to change the organization or move the organization in a different direction take a little bit longer than that to implement. And one of the things that I've always struggled with, and I've always wanted to see the Chamber kind of pivot on, is that it's set up from a programmatic standpoint, meaning that it's focused on its different events throughout the year. Well, business isn't set up that way. Business is set up from an industry standpoint. And so we have different areas here in the city of Mesquite. We have industry, we have hospitality, we have retail. And what I'd like to see the Chamber do is to look at its organization and figure out how it can match the business community a little bit better from that standpoint. And do we need more trade groups? Do we need a retail trade group? Do we need an industry trade group? Do we need a hospitality trade group? And picking certain people and individuals to head up those groups and to build energy within each of those sectors throughout our community. Because I think if we were able to do that, we would have a much better resource as citizens and as a community to be able to reach out to all the different tentacles of the business community that are here in the city of Mesquite.
I was very blessed and very thankful that I got to grow up in a great place called Mesquite, Texas. And I want to make sure that many children growing up here today, whose parents perhaps didn't grow up here, who've come here for a better opportunity, have some of the same opportunities and blessings I had growing up in Mesquite. Now, fighting crime, better code enforcement, better streets, more jobs for our people. I've worked hard the last 2 years on those things, but we're not done. We have a lot of challenges left, a lot more work to do, and we're not going to let up. But as important as all those things are, if we don't have a citizenry that's engaged, that believes in their town, that's proud of their city, that's willing to stand up and take ownership of their street and their neighborhood, government can only do so much. There are more citizens than I've ever seen today who are excited again about their hometown, who feel like they have ownership of their hometown. That's a good thing. I've worked hard to promote that the last years. I said we have town hall meetings on a regular basis. I've had numerous town hall meetings on numerous issues where citizens could come share their thoughts and their hopes and their dreams. I've had numerous meet your councilmen now all over town so citizens can come share their hearts. Even if it's complaints, that's okay. That helps us get better. Now, tonight, somewhere in Mesquite, there's a child who perhaps attends one of our schools with lots of lower income challenges, maybe Tyson or maybe Range Elementary, a number of different places around this town. And it's our job, not just this council, but everybody in this room and everybody in this town, to make sure we do everything possible to make sure that in 20 or 30 years, and I'm so glad we have teachers here tonight. Thank you for your service. that in 20 or 30 years, that child will own a business here, be a teacher in one of our schools, be a pastor, be a number of different things, or perhaps be the mayor of Mesquite. If we do our jobs right tonight, in the coming days and weeks and months, those things can happen, and they should happen. So I'm proud to be part of a process that brings that forward. I love this town. As Dan said, I believe in Mesquite with all my heart and soul. And I will keep fighting to build a better Mesquite, a more prosperous Mesquite, a new Mesquite for the future. So don't just vote for me. Or even if you don't vote for me, join me and let's do it together. God bless you.
All right, I'm not as nervous as I was when I first started. So I want to say some things I should have said at the beginning. My name's Nathan Bosley. I was born and raised here in Mesquite, went to Open Door Christian Academy, then Ruby Shaw, Agnew, and then I graduated Skeeter. I was in the band. I was, a trombone player. A lot of people up here have said a lot of good things up here, and I'm a firm believer of it doesn't matter who comes up with the idea. If it's a good idea and it will work, it should be done. And like I said, it doesn't matter if I come up with it, Mr. Archer comes up with it, Mr. Allman, it doesn't matter. If it's going to work, it should be done. I believe that we should, and now I'm nervous again. I don't have my notes in front of me. So, believe that we should, and I just completely, mind went away. I'm going to grab my notes. And this is going to tie into my notes. If you're going to do something, do it right the first time, like bring your notes up here. You're fixing the roads, do it right the first time. Every penny spent doing something the wrong way is a penny wasted. If you do it the right way the first time, even if it might cost a little bit more up front, you're going to save money in the long run. And just the pride of doing it the right way. And thank you for your time.
I believe in this city. I love this city. When I first came, I went to a housewarming for someone back in '96, and I fell in love with Mesquite. I told my wife, I want to get here. I want to be in this city. And I'm glad that we moved here and we've come to the city. When I think of Mesquite, I want to give you a word picture to close out with, and a word picture of a mesquite tree. A large mesquite tree, but with 4 big, strong branches that connect to the trunk. There are 4 branches in our city that interact and involve with each other, primary branches. But then there's secondary branches that intersect and make a beautiful tree. One branch is the school branch, MISD schools, colleges. Another branch is the government. Another branch is the marketplace. And another branch are the churches. And every one of them work with the same goal of serving our community. You think about it. The government works with the goal of serving our community. The citizens are at top. We serve the community. The schools work with the heart to serve the community. They want to serve the families. With the elementary, the junior high, high schools, they want to serve the community. The marketplace has the very same thing. We have needs, so we go to the marketplace to purchase what we need. And then, of course, there's the spiritual need. The spiritual need where we get our morals that comes from the churches. Everyone is touched by one of these branches. But there's one phrase also I want to leave with you, and this is it. The power of one. The power of one. The power of one is massive when it's involved with unity. When all of us begin to work together with code enforcement, or with public safety, or with economic development, everybody working together. The power of one is huge when we're working together in unity. But when we isolate ourselves and we're not interacting like we should, then the power of one becomes very minute, insignificant. We believe in this city. I do. Do you believe in the city? You have to ask yourself that. We have to move with that right attitude, that right belief, and to understand the capabilities that we have in our city. It's huge. Mesquite has not reached its full potential yet. There's more to be done. And we are seeing on the horizon of a new day of greater things that can happen for our city. But there has to be a determination among our citizens, and I believe there are, and I believe that there are citizens, young ones that are growing up as well, that have a determination. We won't give up. This is a great city. I believe in this city. And then we need to be enthusiastic about our city, excited about what God can do, what we can do together. It's very important. I believe in the city. I have a passion for this city. And my name is Dan Aleman, and I hope you go vote for me on May the 7th, Place 4, City Council. Thank you.
I wanted to thank you guys for having us out tonight. It was a real pleasure getting to know everyone and getting a chance to come up here and speak. And also a big thank you to the leadership of Mesquite that's out here this evening. And I also want to give a special little thanks to Ms. Shirley Roberts for her years of dedicated service. And she's not going to be rerunning and giving some new faces the opportunity to give it a shot. And that is one of the great things about Mesquite is our diversity just within this crowd, within the city council, candidates up here. We have a great deal of diversity. I think that we need to explore that. We need to get in, tap into that and bring more people out to get involved in the city of Mesquite. And I think back to growing up here, growing up in a place where again, I had a great deal of pride, a place where my parents moved to because it was connected to the rest of the area. The schools were great. People believed in everything about Mesquite. And I was so proud just a couple of weeks ago at the rodeo parade. And I was telling somebody earlier today that I had a love-hate relationship with the rodeo parade for one reason. I had to carry a tuba 4 times to that thing. And by the end, I flopped on the ground over there by that gas station. It was, I think, a 7-Eleven back then, but it would just drain me. But then being out there the other day and seeing the people, getting to meet the people, it gave me that small town feel. But, you know, we have such a vast area. And it's a great combination to have all the opportunities we have in Mesquite, but still be able to have that family atmosphere and have everyone close together. So I look forward to getting to know each of you a little bit further. Again, something I said last time, Acromatawe, the name that you may have trouble remembering, but you will never forget. Thank you guys. Have a great evening.
In closing, I'd like for you to remember me for Place 5 at large at the polls. I hope to offer a diverse perspective to the council. I'm a novice. I'm learning. I'm going to forever learn. When I stop learning, I'm probably going to die. Well, we all will. So I hope that you'll remember me at the polls. And keep in mind that I do love Mesquite. And I want the best for Mesquite. And that's what I'm pushing for, continued engagement.
Thank y'all for being out here tonight. You know, it's really great to see such a good crowd here tonight, and some of you I know and have seen over the years, and truly appreciate the support over the years for not just the city of Mesquite, but for this process, and just truly appreciate y'all being here. I would like to be back on the council for another term, and the reason for that is because of all of that new energy that I talked about, and I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of growing a community, taking a community that is transforming itself from a former bedroom community that was a suburb that was out in the sticks to a part of a growing metropolitan area that is facing unprecedented growth and new challenges. And those new challenges are really exciting, because what's exciting about it is the fact that we've got new people coming to North Texas. And what a better thing to do than to be able to share the city of Mesquite with all those new folks that are coming to North Texas. And we're going to be able to bring them new jobs, which we've already started doing here on the council. We're going to be able to bring them a whole new experience throughout our community, which we've been doing with our parks and the investments that we're making in our parks. We're going to be able to get them around faster because of the investments that we've been making in our roads over the years. And you know what? They're going to enjoy living here, because we have great people like you guys, and we got more great people coming to this community. And I look forward to helping shape that vision and helping shape that community for the years to come. And I would appreciate your trust and your confidence in doing that on May 7th.